Hello friends, welcome to my channel Creating Essence. I am Megan. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I get asked a question a whole lot and I promised recently on my Facebook page that I would answer it with a video. So here it is. How do you do what you do? How do you juggle what you have going on? How do you make an income when you're a stay-at-home mom and you have all the things going on and all the kids and are homeschooling? Now, this is not going to be a salesy thing. I'm not trying to sign you up for anything. Don't worry, no pressure. I'm literally answering the question, how I do all this stuff. And maybe a little bit what I do for those who don't know. So I'll start with that. What do I do that earns money? Number one, this YouTube channel. I do make a little bit of money from this every month, which is nice. It is a hobby. It makes me a little money and I get to share my heart with you all. It is nowhere near replacing my husband's job or bringing him home from work or anything, but it does give me a little spending money or pay for us to have a nice dinner out once a month. So I'm really grateful for that. You all watching this channel, give me a night off from dinner. Secondly, I am a doula. For those of you who don't know what a doula is, it is a professional pregnancy, labor, delivery, and postpartum support person. I support whole families. I support mothers. I will include a link in the info box below to really give you the details. That is what I do. I am also a bereavement doula, which is a really special calling. It's kind of my heart's mission that came out of losing our son Asher in January 2015. When someone finds out they're having a miscarriage or a baby is stillborn, or someone at an ultrasound gets what's considered a terminal diagnosis, basically meaning baby is not going to be well, baby may not survive birth, or baby may have a very extended NICU stay. I am the person who is specially trained to support families through that, and I understand the nuances of loss, of NICU, of all those different things. I will post in the info box below the link to my website that talks about my bereavement doula work. I don't just support people who are right here physically near me. A lot, in fact, most of my bereavement doula work is done online or via text. A lot of times it is families or moms who need resources, need someone to talk to who gets it, isn't going to try to fix it, and isn't going to inadvertently say something that's far more hurtful than anyone can imagine. I am also a book lady through Usborne Books and More. Technically, yes, this is an MLM or multi-level marketing, direct sales, whatever you want to call it. What's funny to me though, is that most people don't even realize that I have this job. I take that as a compliment. I'm not hassling anyone or being too salesy, so most people don't even realize this is my job. I make a really nice commission off of sales and parties, and I also get a great discount on all their books, and so many of them I can use for homeschooling, so yay. Speaking of MLMs, I am also an independent consultant with Young Living Essential Oils. This is something I have been doing for about 10 years now. Again, most people don't even realize I do it. I received an email a couple months ago from people in a different essential oils company who said, given my YouTube videos and our apparent lifestyle and things, they think I would just make an amazing person on their team and you would love our team. There are so many big names, big YouTubers, big people you want to know that will totally elevate you. Well, I totally appreciate their passion for what they do. I'm already doing it, and I'm doing it so well, I guess you could say. I earn a passive income. I'm not going out and doing parties and all that different stuff. I did that work for a long time, and now I just kind of order my oils I want when I want them and sit back and say thank you about my commission check. As far as essential oils, I am 110% about information. I am about understanding oils, understanding their chemistry and real proper usage, which frankly upsets Young Living and other people across the board with what I tell them not to do, because I kind of go by science and unbiased science, not who has money to make, regardless of how it affects my paycheck. And I still answer emails and questions all the time about safe essential oil usage and what's good for what and different things like that. So I'm not like out of the game. I'm just not, it doesn't really fit in my life to be actively pursuing some kind of essential oils empire. And lastly, I knit and sew. It's not very common knowledge that I am a published pattern creator. I have been sewing and knitting professionally since 2007. I have had published knitting patterns and things of that nature for baby and kids clothes since 2009. I used to have shops on Etsy, kind of Etsy's ugly stepsister hyena cart, as well as other standalone shops, and had my goods in brick and mortar boutiques all over New England for years. In 2013, when our Aaron was born, and we've talked about his special medical needs before, it just kind of became too much to constantly be keeping inventory. So I don't do that anymore. I do customs, which basically means if you want something made, tell me you want it made and I make it. That way, when someone comes to me with a project, I can say, you know, I'm sorry, I don't have time for this right now. Here's a time frame if you did want to order this custom that I can get it done in. If that works for you, awesome. If not, here are other creators that do a great job that I recommend. I also tend to just post a picture of something that I've made for my kids, my family, a gift for a friend or family member, and often people will say, hey, that's awesome. Can I pay you to make one for me? Totally. So those are all ways that I actively earn an income every single month. And then the big, how do I do it question. YouTube? You may notice I wear the same shirt a lot. Actually, what I do is batch film. That means on a day or a weekend where I have a lot of time, have the things to film or talk about, I will sit down and film a whole bunch of videos at once, and then I'll slowly edit them and publish them over time. So it's not something I stress about. You all know I talked about this summer, when something has to give, it's usually YouTube. My family comes first, and as much as I really enjoy our YouTube community, if I am stressed and I just need a break, sorry guys. Now, my work as a doula. What's funny is even my family members are like, oh, you still do that? Because I don't talk about it much. The reason for that is it's other people's business, if that makes sense. It's their children, it's their births, it's their struggles, and I'm not going to come on my YouTube channel and talk about their experiences. If they want to share them somewhere, they can. But it's not my story to tell. I am always happy to answer questions about being a doula. And if you have any questions, post them in the comments below. I'm happy to make another video answering them. I got certified in 2015. I am an independent doula. That means I don't have like a group that I work with. It's just me. If you hire me, you get me. You don't get the next on-call doula. I build a relationship with the families, and I only take one client at a time. A lot of doulas will stack people up because they say the odds of somebody actually having their baby, even if on the same day, even if they have the same due date, is very slim. I don't really care. I like to dedicate myself to one family at a time. So when someone signs the contract and hires me, from their 37-week point until they would be 43 weeks, I have no other clients. I may assign other people at that time, but they will not be in their 37 to 43 week window. So that means I can have births every 6 to 8 weeks. Now, the nice thing about that is that a lot of it is online or in text. I email, I text, I call. I usually have an initial meeting with a family because I like to feel them out and they like to feel me out before they decide to hire the contract. I have always been able to very easily coordinate that to be in the evenings or on the weekends when my husband is able to just stay with the kids for an hour. So will I go get that done? A lot of the other correspondence is talking, getting to know them, emailing, answering questions, calling, and all those things I can do any time of day while I'm home with my kids, which is awesome. There are occasionally times where I need to go to a prenatal appointment with someone, and if my husband can't work from home that day, I get a babysitter. I just consider that a cost of the business. And then births. Like I said, at most I'll have a birth every 6 to 8 weeks. So my husband knows, and his employer is fantastic about, at any given time in that window, I may need to call my husband and be like, hey honey, the dad called, I need to go. Thankfully, our oldest is old enough that she can hold down the fort for a couple of hours until my husband gets home from work. Or if I have to leave during the night, so many times my husband has been able to just contact his direct supervisor first thing in the morning and say, hey, my wife got called out, can I work from home today? So far, the answer has always been yes, but I also have backup babysitters on hand at any time in case he does have to go to work. As for my Usborne work, I love the power hour. That basically means I take chunks about 2 or 3 times a week where 1 hour I have a list of things I want to get done and I just focus on my business. That's it. I do parties 2 evenings a week. I reserve. If someone wants to have a party, I say I have these 2 evenings. That's it. I don't fill my calendar. I need for my life to keep it easy, and that has always been plenty. There are certain times of year where I will do weekend events where I take my inventory and set up a tent and do an event and people can come there, but it's always a family-friendly event where my whole family can go. As for the Young Living business, like I said, it is very low key for me. I spent the time doing the intense work years ago, and now it's just really relaxed, answering questions, answering emails, and it's not a whole ton of work. I'm really, really grateful for that. I'm not actively pursuing signing people up. If people want to sign up, there are plenty of times that I've had people who over the years have asked me questions about safe essential oil usage, and I have shared with them my knowledge and given them resources to third-party sources of information, because I find that people are always skeptical if the information is from the company that has money to gain from them. A person has been coming to me for that information and stuff for years, and all of a sudden I'll just get a message from them saying, hey, so I've decided to take the plunge and I want to sign up with Young Living. How do I do it? And I tell them, and they just put in my member number for the person that referred them, and that's it. And I'm really grateful for that. I did a lot of work when Aaron and Ella were little kids, and I have worked very hard to have impeccable integrity in that regard, because I know essential oils can be kind of a sticky thing. There's a lot of drama, there's a lot of superiority complex, and a lot of back and forth, and I don't get into that. There's a lot of questionable usage practices, and I do not get into that. I stick with science. I've literally studied the science of how essential oils work and why, and I share that information. For knitting and sewing, much like my Young Living business, my patterns are sort of a passive source of income at this point. I wrote them and edited them and did the work years ago, and now they're available for sale on places like Ravelry. And when people have a question, they email me and I'm happy to answer them and work through the pattern to help them modify to get whatever outcome they'd like. But it's a very low-key thing, and I'm really grateful for that. And the creative side of things, as far as making garments and projects, I stick to strictly customs, and I kind of go on sewing binges where I sew a whole bunch of things at once and just like take over the dining room table with my sewing machines and supplies and get it all done at once. And usually when I'm kind of on a binge is when I'm posting a lot of pictures and people are like, hey, that's awesome, make that for me. I've got my stuff out. Sure, made it for you, done, in the mail. Or like today, I was on my way to get groceries and dropped it off at the person's house. So those are all the ways that I make money and how I make it work. I am so grateful for the opportunity to make an income while I am here homeschooling my kids and doing what I love, being a stay-at-home mom and gardening and all the things. It takes being intentional, but it is well worth it. I am very grateful for the supplemental income that all of those things together make for my family. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. I am happy to share. I'm happy to share more details about any of those things if you all would like to know. Again, I'm not trying to sell you anything. And as always, my friends, if you like this video, give us the thumbs up and subscribe to hang out for more. We'll see you again soon.